Well, joining me now is the Deputy Chief Constable of West Yorkshire, that's Russ Foster, who's coming here to the Isle of Man to take up the position of the Chief Constable. This is the second time of asking, so did you enter the first time, or what's the background to you applying for this job?
Well, no, I've only applied once for the particular role. So it was, I understand that they run a process. My understanding was there were 4 applicants and they didn't appoint. As a consequence, I didn't see it advertised the first time, so I did make an inquiry with the current Chief Constable, Gary Roberts, and they said that they'd not appointed a successful candidate and they would be running the process again. So on that occasion, I participated. If I'm honest, quite a challenging process. So there were firstly an application whereby I had to write a letter in terms of, my leadership qualities, my experience, underpinned with my curriculum V type, to the Justice Minister. As a consequence, I was invited for interview, but before that I had to participate in a psychological assessment, which I completed. And then on the 5th September, I participated in quite a robust selection process, I would argue. Firstly, an internal and external stakeholder panel, asking a variety of different questions on various topics. Subsequent to that was a presentation to the selection panel around my 5-year outlined strategic plan for the Isle of Man Constabulary. I then had 45 minutes following a few questions with the Chief Minister, Alf Cannon, before returning for a further interview with the selection panel.
Okay, so it's interesting you say that, because I know you've been to different sort of regions around the UK, so this one was a challenging one, you're saying, for the interview?
Well, I think it was quite a comprehensive searching interview selection process.
Okay, well, what do you know about us? I mean, obviously, we do have our uniquenesses here, because obviously we have to do, you have to run a complete scope of everything to do with the police, which is quite challenging in that sense, I understand. You found that, looking at it? Absolutely.
I mean, I think, it is a unique challenge in terms of what I've been used to, certainly around governance. I work currently to a devolved administration, to a metro mayor. I mean, it's only recent arrangements. It was previously a police and crime commissioner. Here in the Isle of Man, you're more closely aligned to ministers, reporting to the Department for Home Affairs. And again, very much part of island life as well, with that additional civic responsibility, which I am looking forward to going forward. But in terms of the fundamentals of policing, particularly around, obviously preventing, detecting crime, reducing antisocial behaviour, so on and so forth, it's, very much the same. And again, certainly we've seen the changing face of criminality. When I started over 30 years ago, it was very much in the analogue world. We're certainly now in the digital world, particularly around cybercrime, some of the complex frauds and other sophisticated criminality that we, have to address in this day and age.
Well, the big headline that is always put out here is we're the safest place in the British Isles. But I put it to you that 50% doesn't sound that brilliant when you have such a small, 85,000 people. It's almost like the regulars are going to be picked up for these small amounts of drugs and those sort of things. There are obviously bigger things to cover sometimes. Will you be having a think how you can make that success rate even higher than 50%?
Certainly. I mean, the Isle of Man enjoys a 46% detection rate at the moment, which is, I think, the highest above England and Wales, and also the small island forces. But there's certainly no room for complacency, and I will be looking to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of the performance within the Isle of Man Constabulary going forward, both in terms of trying to continue that reduction in crime to, as you say, ensure that the Isle of Man does remain the safest island in the British Isles.
We have this thing that now policemen maybe don't see it as a career forever. I mean, I think Gary Roberts on record is saying that, that he's had challenges on getting people to join. Did you find that? And what can you do to get people to join? And secondly, which has been very in the news at the minute, policemen who shouldn't be policemen have been joining again. Have you got any comments on that?
Absolutely. So firstly and foremostly, certainly when I joined just short of 30 years ago, I joined at the age of 22 on £22,000. We're nearly 30 years on, and we've got constables who are joining on £24,000. And, I think Gary Roberts has been reported saying that, certainly police officers' pay has certainly not kept in line with inflation. And in real terms, in the last decade, there's been a reduction of about 20%, which is quite stark. And there comes the challenge when you're competing for, talented individuals, both within other public service, but also the private sector. It does become really, really challenging. We've also seen changes to pension regulations for police officers going forward. It's not as attractive as it perhaps once was, and certainly people would have remained in the police service, and certainly the pension would have been a real attraction, as well as the other terms and conditions. There used to be an adage around, police officers are paid well for what they do, but not very well for what they might have to do. I don't think that holds true anymore. I don't think police officers are paid well for what they do, never mind what they have to do. I know other jurisdictions, including Police Scotland, have certainly seen a pay increase of 5%, regardless of rank, whereas England and Wales, but also the Isle of Man, have seen an increase of £1,900 per annum, regardless of rank going forward.
And this other point about bent coppers, we have had our fair few stories here on the Isle of Man even. Is there anything you can do to get the right people in these jobs?
It's a significant challenge, isn't it? And HMIC, FRS, that's His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary Fire and Rescue Services, have published their report just yesterday, which identifies 43 recommendations, 5 areas for improvement going forward in terms of how we actually recruit people and undertake the vetting around those people into the police service. And again, without rehearsing some of the challenges around the recruitment of Wayne Cousins, who were responsible for that horrendous murder of Sarah Everard, that's certainly brought it into sharper focus. In terms of what we can do, I think we've got to look at our recruitment processes. We've got to focus on a values-driven assessment of individuals, making sure they've got the requisite skills, abilities, but also values to become a police officer going forward. And certainly in terms of vetting, we need to do those robust background checks of individuals, whether they've got a criminal history, whether there's intelligence in terms of other offences that they may have been a suspect for, but also doing that due diligence around other family members as well, and also having an acute understanding around their motivation to join the police. Clearly, police officers, they hold that office of constable. What comes with that is significant responsibility, being able to deprive someone of their liberty, to be able to stop and search them on the streets, obviously if they've got the requisite reasonable grounds to do so. But, we do need people with those highest moral standards.
Well, I'm sure you'll be coming and getting some sort of background to us from time to time before you take over. I was going to say, we're looking forward to putting your white helmet on, but of course the Chief Constable doesn't get the white helmet. No, but certainly it is quite unique to the island. I think there's the Isle of Man Constabulary and also Gibraltar, who wear the white helmets. That's my understanding. So will you be having a handover period before Gary Roberts goes, sort of thing? Absolutely. Paul, this is a unique opportunity. As you're aware, the island does have some nuances, some very much differences, as I mentioned, particularly around governance, but also some unique challenges as well. And for the first time in my career, I've been blessed with having a sustainable period. So that should provide the islanders with some reassurance that there'll be a seamless transition from the leadership of Gary Roberts to the leadership of Russ Foster as he assumes that role of Chief Constable on the 1st of April 2023. So I'm actually joining the Isle of Man Constabulary on the 1st of February as the Chief Constable designate, but clearly constitutionally we can't have 2 Chief Constables. So I will come as Gary's deputy, and I will work very closely with him through the month of February and March, just to make sure that he imparts his wisdom over the last 39 years and certainly 10 years as Chief Constable going forward. So I'm really looking forward to working with Gary. He's got a fantastic reputation. I think the Isle of Man Constabulary is in a really good place in terms of performance, and I'll be open to all what he has to impart.